The Fantasy Skirmisher.
Hey everyone, this is Nevin. Welcome back to the Fantasy Skirmisher. And today we're going to do an unboxing of Dark Blades. Dark Blades was released in 1986 and was designed by Chris Bayless and Andy McKay. The artwork is not credited because I looked on BGG to see who did the artwork. But the Cry Havoc series of games before this was done by Gary Chalk, who also designed the game as well with Tony Webster. So Dark Blades is, like I said, the fantasy version. It adds magic and mythical beasts. And it was published by a company called Standard Games and Publications Limited. So let's take a look at what this says here. Dark Blades and the Black Fox struggle for mastery of the magical and fantastic Isle of Labyrinthia. Over 200 full-color double-sided counters, Dark Blades and his fellow heroes, the Dread Black Fox and his ferocious Mon Ogres. 2 full-color playing maps, the Arena and the Watermill. Full-color map of the Isle of Labyrinthia, details of terrain, towns, and cities, especially suited for campaign play. Rules book, rules of play, 4 starter scenarios, and a detailed list of the population, settlements, industries of Labyrinthia. Includes a 10-sided die, play sheets for easy reference during play, and spell cards, our easy-to-use magic system made in England. Okay, so I looked in Standard Games and Publications Limited, which I had never heard of before. It no longer exists, but there is an active community on the internet, people who are really devoted to the Cry Havoc system of games. And as you can see, that this box is just minty. There's no weathering other than this right here, and usually boxes of this style get dished and kind of beat up. Notice the back of the box is absolutely white and blank, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have inside. And mind you, this is going to be my first time looking at this game as well, so we're doing this together. Okay, so here is the 10-sided die, and it comes with a plastic tray. And considering this was released in 1986, it's not brittle, it's really supple, so that's great. And we have a rule book. And let's take a look at the rules. In fact, I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit. All right. So you can see it's a small format rule book. And let's see, it has 40 pages of rules. Game design, development, published 1986, but does not give any art credits that I see here. Interesting, but let's take a look here. So we've got an introduction and background. So Dark Blades is an extension of the popular board game Cry Havoc. It introduces the fantasy element of mythical monsters and magic without complicating or losing the thrill of man-to-man combat that has become the trademark of this easy-to-play and enjoyable system. And looks like it has background history of the game. There's named characters in here. A directory of the map, which I assume is in the box here. And information on cities on the map. So we've got capital city of Cafe, has the population, the races, industry, all the demographics that you would find on a Wikipedia page. All right, so interesting. So, okay, with lots of cities. Okay, description and use of the playing pieces. So, playing pieces for a mounted character. Playing pieces for a foot character or a dismounted rider. Dark Blades characters, personalized. So it's got individual people with their age, their height, their weight. So what is this, a role-playing game? I thought this was a fantasy skirmisher. See what I did there? Okay, well, this is interesting. All right, sequence of play. All right, so the first player's spellcaster may cast a spell if able. Then all missile armed troops may shoot if able. Then all characters may move, but there's an exception. Characters who are affected by magic may not be able to move. Bow-armed troops who fired in Step 2 may be limited in their movement. Then Step 4, some missile and armed troops may fire again. Then 5, a spellcaster may cast a spell if he did not do so in the first step. 6, all characters adjacent to enemy characters may engage in combat. Dead or stunned trolls may be burnt after combat. Okay, I like that. And then Step 7, all friendly characters stunned during the opponent's last half turn are flipped over. Unburnt trolls flip back to their next stage. Oh, that sounds really cool. And then it moves on to the second player. So then just quickly go through here. So we have terrain types, which has the appearance, hex type, the movement point cost per hex, cover type, and terrain advantage if there is one. So this kind of reads just like a standard war game from back in the day. Then you've got, talks about cover like trees and slopes. So it definitely has that tactical element there. Rules for movement, mounting and dismounting. Moving through windows. It addresses water, lakes, river, stacking, pack mules, combat, multiple combat, and then terrain in combat. And then it looks like, and horses in combat and attacking pack mules. Then we've got effects of terrain and combat charts, a combat results table. Missile attack strengths, restrictions on firing. So we've got the rules for ranged fire. Infinite cover, combat tables for missiles, as well as missile results against infantry. And then we move on to magic here. So it looks like division of magic spell cards, 24 cards, how to use them. More examples of play. Looks like there's a area effects with examples. So overall, this does not look too complicated. Special rules. Okay. Dog attacks, trolls, the dragon, and optional rules such as a magic sword and a magic ring. And then it has, which I think is disappointing, only 4 scenarios. So it looks like it's got the setup for each one. And I do know, because I checked on BGG, there is an expansion for this game. So of course I looked at Noble Knight Games to see if they had it, and they don't. So just something I'm going to need to keep my eye out for. Also, there's a French version of this game. Let's move this up again. And it came in 2 box sets with a different name. It's not Dark Blades. It's called Dragon Noir for 1 and 2. And it came with underground, like cavern maps, which apparently this does not have. So it looks like all the counters are in a bag here. Okay, so it looks like this is the sprue they're on, and it's really thin cardboard here. But let's take a look at what we got. So let's dump this in the box. And we've got spell cards. Like temporary blindness. Freeze, zap, move freely. Death, fear. Magic arrow. And help again. Mire feet, fire burst. Looks like there's 2 of each spell, one for each player. And looks like there may be a couple others hiding in here, and we'll get to them when we can. Shield and Mire effect. Okay, so Let's take a look at some of this artwork here. Yeah, the pieces are pretty thin. It does have nice color artwork on them, especially on the front side here. So you can see got mounted characters and singles. Well, looks like dead horses. Dismounted and dead. And dead characters. Oh, stun, dead. All right, interesting. So I am definitely going to learn to play this, play it, and then do a playthrough review at a future date. That's the backside because they're all dead. Here we go. There's Mon Ogres, Black Dwarves, Goblins, Dwaks and Gargoyles, Berserkers, and you got Black Fox here. And they're all either stunned or dead on the backside. Alright, so yeah, all named characters. Peterson. Oh, looks like, okay, looks at strength, defense, movement, that's my guess. Because it goes from 12 to 6. And then dismounted to dead. Okay, that's going to be interesting. We got some trolls here. And Quill, I guess a wizard character here. But yeah, these are all individual characters, so that's nice. So it's interesting they are left on the board as opposed to, you know, the counters just being removed from the map. And there is Dark Blades. Strength of 30. Looks like a really high defense as well. More named characters, mounted and dismounted, or I should say on foot. I do like the artwork, but I can't say who it is. Oh, look, we got a dragon. Kind of cool. And we've got a stunned and a dead dragon. We've got Matt and Lee. A war dog. Oh, and Quill, that was that wizard we saw earlier. So here's a mounted version of him. And the reduced mounted version of him. Oh, this is the same character as well. Mounted and dismounted. And to wrap this up, we've got a magic ring and a target. We have Sarah. There's Homily again and Grast. Counters look very nice. Oops, and that was a goblin. And it looks like another warhound here. Yeah, it's going to be kind of a pain to move these around here on the map, just because it's so thin. Okay, another unique item, sword. So we have a ring and a sword. And this dog is named, or it's a Zatin, whatever that is. All right, so that's the counters. Well, no, we still have one more hidden here. Another war dog. And some more spells. We got Shield and Wizard Whirl. And Fear. and heal. And more counters. Rick and Evans. All right, now, looks like we've got some copies of the spells. Another sprue, if you want to call it that. Here's the quick reference sheets with lots of graphs in tiny, tiny font. Back in the 80s when we had better eyesight. That does look handy. Sequence of play, the train, all the combat tables. One for each player. So that is a nice touch. And the beginner's guide. Single sheet. All right, so I'm going to stop the camera, clean up a little bit so we could take a look at these maps. And here we have the campaign map of Labyrinthia. Campaign with 4 scenarios. Interesting. But I can imagine a lot of you guys are already thinking about how you could use this for your solitaire RPG or miniature skirmish games as well, where you need a map for campaigns. So this would be ideal. So let's take a look. So it's got a terrain key right here. A religious shrine, capital city, desert, woodlands and forests, meadows, ruined castle or prominent building, castle or prominent building, as well as boundary lines, which are in the red here. And I'm just kind of curious if the scenarios, this and also the previous games, if the maps reflect areas here on the campaign map. If it did, that'd be super cool. Okay, so here is the campaign map. Let's move on to the others. And here's the first of the 2 maps. This one is the arena. And on each edge it says, side 1 through side 4. And you got the various terrain. And this is the cells. Oh, okay. So it looks like this is where the prisoners or the gladiators are, and you go through and fight. That looks pretty cool. So maybe you're battling mythical beasts. So let's, and also it has really nice large hexes. Yeah, I do love the artwork in this game. Looks really nice. All right, let's take a look at the other map. And here is the Watermill map. So you can see a mounted character there. Looks really good. And one thing I noticed about these 2 maps, looks like they're laminated or semi-laminated, and they are textured as well. So it's got a nice texture to it. I don't know if you can see it, probably not on the camera, but besides the beautiful artwork, it does have a good feel to it, which I imagine helps prevent the counters since they're so thin from sliding around. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a fun game to play. I hope so. And if it is, then I'm going to be on the hunt for other games in the series and other maps, particularly the French edition of this game, so I can get the underground cavern maps. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're seeing something new and perhaps something you might be interested in. If not, maybe just interested as a museum piece here, because it is a very interesting game, and it's one that I hadn't heard about until just recently. Also, if you are familiar with this game, please leave a comment and let me know what you think, okay? All right, well, again, thank you for watching the Fantasy Skirmisher, and please subscribe if you like my content. If you have no idea what my content is, just please take a look and look around. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.